The silk ties are still knotted around my bedpost 3 days later. I can't bring myself to untie them. Can't erase the evidence of what happened between Caspian and me in this small apartment in Burlington, Vermont. They hang there like ghosts of pleasure, reminding me of hands that knew exactly how to make me surrender everything I thought I knew about myself. Before I continue with the rest of the story, kindly do me a little favor. Please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment your favorite part of the story below. I love reading your thoughts and reactions. They truly keep me going. Now, allow me to take a moment to appreciate my rainbow lovers. Yes, you. Thank you for making us a strong community. Each one of you is a pillar of strength, color, and courage. This journey wouldn't be possible without your love, your voice, and your presence. You are making the queer community proud, and I see every one of you. Your support is not just a number, it's a movement. It's light in the dark. It's love, loud and unashamed. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for standing with me. Thank you for being you. His voicemail greeting plays for the 17th time today. You've reached Caspian. I'm probably painting or pretending to be a responsible adult. Leave a message, and I'll call you back when I remember how phones work. The sound of his voice sends heat through my chest, the same way it did when he whispered my name, Orion, like it was something sacred, like I was something worth worshiping. It's me again, I say after the beep. Day 3 of radio silence. I know you said you needed space to think, but I'm starting to wonder if space is code for running away. The coffee shop on Church Street still smells like your cologne, by the way. I went there hoping you'd be reading in that corner booth where we first met, but you weren't. You're never anywhere anymore. I hang up and stare at the ceiling, at the hook where he'd hung my wrists with such careful attention. The physical marks have faded, but the emotional ones seem to deepen with each unanswered call. My phone buzzes. For a split second, hope flares in my chest, but it's just a text from my sister asking if I want to grab dinner. I don't. I want to stay here in this bed where everything still smells like us, where I can close my eyes and remember the weight of his body, the taste of his skin, the way he looked at me like I was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life. I dial his number again. You know what I keep thinking about? I say to his voicemail, that first night, when you asked if I trusted you, I thought you were talking about the ties, about letting you bind my hands. But now I realize you were asking something bigger, weren't you? I roll onto my side, bury my face in the pillow that still holds traces of a scent, something like cedar and rain, and the faint chemical smell of paint thinner that always clung to his fingers. I trusted you with everything, Caspian. Not just my body, but my heart, my fears, my stupid jokes at 3 a.m. I trusted you when you said we had time to figure this out, when you promised that whatever was happening between us was real. The silk ties flutter in the breeze from the open window, and I remember the careful way he'd secured them, checking and rechecking to make sure they wouldn't hurt me. Such attention to detail, such tenderness in his dominance. He'd made me feel powerful in my surrender, beautiful in my vulnerability. I keep replaying that last morning. I continue. The way you made coffee while I was still tied up, how you fed me strawberries and kissed the juice from my lips. You seemed so content, so present. What changed between then and when you left for your studio? My voice cracks on the last words. I know what changed. His ex, Dante, had called while Caspian was getting dressed. I'd only heard one side of the conversation, but it was enough. Something about unfinished business, about needing to talk, about mistakes that needed correcting. I should have asked what that call was about. I whispered the phone, but I was afraid of the answer. I'm still afraid, but now I'm more afraid of not knowing. I hang up and immediately dial again. I need to tell you something I should have said that last morning. I begin, my voice steadier now. I love you. Not just the way you touch me. Not just the way you make me feel like I'm flying and falling at the same time. I love the way you explain color theory, like it's poetry. I love how you always order too much food and then insist we need to finish it, because wasting food is a sin against the universe. I love that you know the names of all the stray cats in your neighborhood and leave food out for them even though you're allergic. I sit up, looking out the window at the mountains in the distance. Somewhere out there, in his studio on Pine Street, he's probably working on a new painting, losing himself in brushstrokes and color the way he lost himself in my body. I love that you see beauty in things other people overlook. Rust stains on buildings, the way shadows fall across abandoned lots, the sound I make when I'm trying not to cry. You said once that I was your favorite subject to study, that you could spend hours just watching me exist. Well, I've been studying you too, CASP, and what I've learned is that you're afraid of being happy. The words hang in the air after I say them, feeling both true and terrifying. Your ex hurt you. I know that much, even if you never gave me the details. But I'm not him, and what we have isn't what you had with him. When you tie me up, it's not about control, it's about trust. When you take me apart with your hands and mouth, it's not about power, it's about worship. You make love to me like you're afraid I'll disappear if you don't memorize every inch of my skin. I pause, gathering courage for what I need to say next. But here's the thing, Caspian, I'm not going anywhere. I know that scares you, but it shouldn't. Some of us are built to stay. Day 7. Still no response. I drove by your studio today. I admit to his voicemail. Your car wasn't there, but Mrs. Chun from the flower shop next door said she saw you yesterday. She asked where you've been, said you looked troubled. Her word, not mine, though I have to agree. I'm lying in the bathtub now, the phone balanced on the edge, steam rising around me. The hot water doesn't wash away the ache in my chest, doesn't ease a knot of anxiety that's taken a permanent residence in my stomach. I keep thinking about that night when we went to the art opening in Montpelier. You were so nervous about showing your work, convinced everyone would hate it. But when that collector offered to buy 3 pieces, you lit up like Christmas morning. You pulled me into that coat closet and kissed me until I couldn't breathe, your hands shaking with excitement and relief. The memory makes me smile despite everything. Caspian's joy was always physical, expressed through touch and movement, and the way he'd look at me like I was the best thing that had ever happened to him. You said that night that you'd never felt safe enough with anyone to be that vulnerable. You said I made you brave. Well, you make me brave too, CASP. Brave enough to leave 17 voicemails. Brave enough to say I love you to an answering machine. Brave enough to keep believing that what we have is worth fighting for. I slide deeper into the water, letting it cover my shoulders. I'm not giving up on us. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But running away isn't going to change what happened between us. It isn't going to make these feelings go away. Trust me, I've tried. I figured it out. I say to his voicemail on day 10, why you're avoiding me. It's not about Dante calling. It's about what happened after. I'm sitting on my fire escape, looking out over the city lights. The autumn air is crisp, reminding me of the night we first kissed, pressed against a brick wall behind the studio while snow began to fall. You untied me that morning with such care, massaging my wrists, checking for marks. But when Dante called, something shifted. You looked at me like you were seeing me for the first time, and not in a good way. You looked at me like I was something that could be taken away. A plane passes overhead, its lights blinking against the stars. Here's what I think happened. Dante wants you back. And instead of laughing and hanging up, instead of telling him about us, you started wondering if you deserved to be happy. You started cataloging all the ways you might mess this up, all the reasons I might leave. I pull my jacket tighter around myself. But here's the thing you're missing, Caspian. I already chose you. I chose you when I let you tie me up, when I trusted you with part of myself I'd never shared with anyone. I chose you when I said yes to coffee, to dinner, to spending the night. I choose you every morning when I wake up, and every night when I fall asleep thinking about your hands on my skin. My voice grows stronger, more certain. Dante is your past. I want to be your future. But I can't fight for us alone. I'm done leaving voicemails. I announce on day 14, this is the last one. Not because I don't love you, but because I love myself too much to keep begging someone to choose me. I'm standing in front of my bathroom mirror, looking at the man who fell so hard for an artist with gentle hands and a guarded heart. I look tired, hollowed out by 2 weeks of hoping for a phone call that never comes. I'm not angry. CSP. I'm disappointed. Not in what we had, but in what you're throwing away. You taught me that I was worth cherishing, worth taking time with, worth coming back to. But apparently, you don't believe the same thing about yourself. I lean against the sink, gathering my thoughts. I found the painting today. The one you did of me sleeping. The one you thought I didn't know about. It was in your studio. Mrs. Chun has a key, and she's worried about you too. She let me in to see if you were okay. The painting had taken my breath away. Me, sprawled across his bed in the aftermath of passion. Silk ties still around my wrists, but loosened, my face peaceful and trusting. He'd captured something in that image that I hadn't even known I was feeling. Complete contentment, absolute safety. You painted me like I was something precious, like I was home. But you're treating me like I'm temporary, like I'm going to evaporate the moment you let yourself believe this is real. I straighten up, meeting my own eyes in the mirror. So, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stop calling. I'm going to go back to living my life. Trying to forget the way you taste, the sound you make when I kiss that spot just below your ear. I'm going to pretend that being tied to your bed didn't change everything I thought I knew about love and trust and surrender. My voice doesn't waver. But if you change your mind, if you decide that what we have is worth fighting for, you know where to find me. I'll be here, probably still sleeping in silk ties, definitely still in love with you. The question is, are you brave enough to love me back? I don't hear him come in. I'm asleep when his key turns a lock. The key I gave him 6 weeks ago, before everything went sideways. I wake to the sound of quiet footsteps, the rustle of fabric, the familiar scent of cedar and paint. He's sitting on the edge of my bed when I open my eyes, still wearing his jacket, his hair disheveled like he's been running his hands through it. In the dim light from the street lamp outside, he looks exhausted and hopeful and terrified all at once. "Hi," he says softly. "Hi yourself." I don't sit up, don't move to touch him, even though every cell in my body is screaming for contact. "Long trip?" He laughs, but there's no humor in it. You could say that. I went to see Dante. My heart stops. And I told him about you, about us, about how you let me tie you up and somehow managed to set me free. His fingers traced the silk ties still knotted to my bedpost. I told him that I'm in love with someone who leaves 17 voicemails and still manages to give me an ultimatum at the end. 18, I correct. There was one more after that. What did it say? That I lied. That I'm not done fighting for us, but I am done fighting alone. He's quiet for a long moment, his hand moving from the ties to my hair, fingers combing through it with the gentleness I remember. "I've been an idiot," he says finally. "Yeah, you have." "I hurt you." "Yeah, you did." "I'm sorry." His voice breaks on the words. "I'm so fucking sorry, Orion. I got scared, and instead of talking to you about it, I ran. I made you feel like what we have isn't real, isn't worth fighting for." I sit up then, needing to see his face clearly. "What changed? Why are you here now?" Because 18 voicemails taught me something about persistence, about love that doesn't give up, even when it should. He cups my face in his hands. And because Dante looked at me like I was crazy when I described what we have. He said no one fights that hard for something that isn't extraordinary. He's right. I know. He leans forward, resting his forehead against mine. "I love you, Orion. I love you enough to risk being happy. I love you enough to believe that some things are worth staying for." "Prove it," I whisper. He proves it with his mouth first, kissing me like he's been drowning, and I'm air. His hands shake as they frame my face, relearning the shape of my lips, the texture of my skin. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I want to tie you up again, he says against my mouth. But not the way I did before. What do you mean? Before, I tied you up to keep you safe, to control the experience. This time, I want to tie you up so you know I'm not going anywhere. So you can let go completely, knowing I'll be here when you come back to yourself. The difference in his words, in his intention, sends heat straight through me. Yes. Yes. Yes to all of it. To the ties, to the trust, to whatever comes next. I reach for his hands, bringing them to my lips. But I have conditions. Name them, no more running. If you get scared, you talk to me about it. If Dante calls again, you tell me what he wants. If you start spiraling into that place where you think you don't deserve this, you let me remind you that you do. Agreed? He kisses my palm, then my wrist, right where the silk left its gentle marks weeks ago. Anything else? Love me back. Not just with your body, though God knows I want that. Love me with your words, your presence, your willingness to believe that this is real. I already do. He reaches for the silk ties, his movements sure and purposeful. Let me show you. What follows is different from before. The ties are the same, the position's familiar, but the energy between us has shifted. There's no hesitation in his touch now, no holding back. He worships my body like he's making promises with every caress, like he's writing love letters on my skin with his tongue. When he finally moves inside me, it's with a reverence that makes me cry out, not just from pleasure, but from recognition. This is what I've been missing. Not just a physical connection, but the emotional surrender, the complete trust that what we're building together is permanent. I love you, he breathes against my neck as we move together. I love you, I love you, I love you. Show me. I gasp, pulling against the silk ties that hold me open for him. Show me every day. And he does. In the way he holds me afterward. In the way he unties the silk with careful attention. In the way he looks at me like I'm the answer to every question he's ever asked. He shows me in the coffee he makes while I'm still floating. In the strawberries he feeds me. In the way he tangles our legs together like he's afraid I might disappear. No more voicemails, he murmurs against my hair as we lie wrapped in each other. No more running. I counter. Deal. Outside, Burlington sleeps on, unaware that two men have just tied themselves to something more binding than silk, more permanent than promises. We've tied ourselves to each other, to the terrifying and beautiful possibility of forever. And for the first time in weeks, I sleep without reaching for my phone.